That's it. There are surely no more gross science stories out there. We've covered everything today, from a pooologist to a parasitologist. We've studied the stinky and the slimy. There surely could be nothing that could top that off. Oh, what's this? Oh, it looks like we do have one more story, and it ticks all those boxes and more. Let's check it out.
These sheep might look healthy, but they could have hundreds, even thousands of pesky passengers, blood-sucking worms.
And these worms are causing a big health problem. Hi, I'm Samantha, a parasitologist from the University of Queensland and CSIRO, and we're working on ways to get rid of these worms for good.
Worms live in the stomach of the sheep, feeding on the sheep's blood. If a sheep has a lot of worms, they can drain up to 10% of the sheep's blood every day. This makes the sheep weak and malnourished, and they can't produce as much wool or meat.
There are drugs to treat these worms, but the worms have become drug resistant. We need to find a new solution now, and we're focusing on one very stripy specimen.
These are Barbers pole worms. They get their name from their curly red intestines, which look like red and white poles outside some barber shops. Barbers pole worms are only small, about 3 centimetres long, but they can lay up to 10,000 eggs inside the stomach every day.
To study these worms and find a cure, we need to grow lots of them from eggs here in our lab. And to get the eggs, we need to hold our noses.
That's because, being a gut parasite, the eggs are expelled in the sheep's poo. This fresh poo is sent to our lab, where we can extract the eggs using a few steps. First, we have to mash the poo and push it through a series of sieves by hand.
So this gives us a kind of poo slurry. Pretty gross, right? But the next part is a bit sweeter.
Using these different sugar solutions, I can create a density gradient in this tube. Then I add the poo slurry and place the tube in a centrifuge. Spinning the tube separates the eggs into a thin layer between the different coloured sugar solutions.
So now that the worm eggs are separated, I can collect them with a syringe and get them growing.
We grow the Barbers pole eggs in a multi-well plate for around a week to study their larval development. We're looking to stop them developing to the infectious stage. In real life, this is when the worm would crawl up a blade of grass to be eaten by a sheep and continue the cycle of infection.
Because the worms are resistant to current medicines, we're making new drugs with new compounds. And we're getting these new compounds from a surprising source.
Spiders have complex venoms made of lots of different compounds. These compounds are strong and fast-acting, which makes them great potential drugs. By milking spiders, we can test their venom's effects on parasites like Barbers pole worms.
So when we find the solution to our sheep worms, we hope that we'll be able to apply it to other parasites too, to help our dogs, our cats, our cattle, and even us humans too.